And so that's our platform where we're going to insert the hex nut and the bolt through to lock everything in place. However, there's a problem here because if you're working with an FDM printer, you're going to have a hard time printing this because there's nothing to support this area under here. So if there was no circle there, the filament could easily bridge across this. It's only, what, 6 millimeters, right? But because there's a circle there, when it gets to that point, or because of this hole, it's going to actually come in and just draw or spew filament here, making a circle, and there's nothing to support that, so it's just going to droop down. And then it's going to try to connect the circle, to these walls, and again, with nothing to support it, the filament is just going to fall through. So having a hole there is really not ideal. So instead of that, we'll actually just draw a rectangle here and have it extrude through. So I'll show you what I mean. Let's bring back that previous sketch. Oops, I'm going to hit escape and deselect everything. Click on sketches here, and then we want to bring in that sketch 7 so that you can see our sketch there. Actually, we don't even need this hole here, so let me remove sketches for a second, and I'm going to select that hole. Now this part is not really necessary, but I kind of want to show you the power of the delete tool. If I select that hole and just hit the delete button, Fusion does an excellent job of just healing that and completely deleting that hole. So now we have a clean slate again. So sometimes it's just easier to do that if you don't need a feature. So now we'll go back and toggle that sketch, and we're going to turn, let's go to that top view and bring this back. We're actually going to edit the sketch. So we'll right click and go to edit sketch. And I'm going to turn that polygon into a construction line by double clicking, selecting the whole thing and hitting X. So now it's just a guideline there. And we'll also turn this circle into a construction line by selecting it and hitting X. Okay, now we'll grab our center rectangle tool again. So we'll go to sketch rectangle, center rectangle, grab our center point, come out, and we'll make this the same dimension as far as height is concerned. We'll go the same as our diameter in our circle, which was 3.5 millimeters. And we're going to tab over and make this length the same as our extrusion that we did on the bottom for our hex nut, which was 6 millimeters, and we'll hit enter. Okay, a lot of guidelines here, but that's okay. We can just simply select this shape, E for extrude. Actually, let's cancel. Let's stop the sketch first so we can actually see our hole here. Okay, so now we can hit E for extrude, select that profile, start going down, and then we're going to go to extent, select change this from distance to to object, and then as our object, we can select the bottom of that surface. We know that this is 2 millimeters, so we could have actually just kept it at 2 millimeters as an extrusion, or extruded it through. But the reason I like to go and select to object is because if we ever change that thickness, it's always going to have that reference object to extrude to. Alright, so we're going to click on chain faces, or select extend faces from the chain faces option and click OK. And now we have this rectangle that is extruded through instead of having a hole. It'll have the same function, it'll perform the exact same way, but it'll print, it'll actually successfully print this way, because once it gets to this point here, it's going to be able to bridge across and make this a column here, and the same thing on the other side, instead of just dripping filament down the center by trying to make a hole. Okay, and the last thing we'll do here is we'll fillet these edges. So we'll go to modify, fillet, grab each one of these edges here, and we'll give this a fillet of 1 millimeter just to round this out, and click OK. And now if we bring back that circuit playground, we should see that that should rest right on top. Okay, let's do the same thing on the other side, but instead of redoing it, we're just gonna mirror this feature. So to do that, we'll bring in our origin, and since this is right at the center, we could take advantage of that mid plane there. So we're gonna go to create, down to mirror, and we're going to choose features, and we're going to have to select every feature that we did to make this column here. So we know that we'll go backwards. We'll start with this extrusion and then every other extrusion after that, and select our mirror plane, which is going to be the center ZX plane here. We'll see a preview of it on that side. Click OK, and there we go. We have our two features there. So bring back our circuit playground. That's right on top. We can remove origin.